Today we're going to be going over the likelihood of each of these main roster talent and their chances of having a match at this year's WrestleMania 42 in 2026. Let's go over the categories here. We have people that have a 100% chance, in my opinion, of having a match at WrestleMania. These are people that the only way they wouldn't have a match is if they were injured or if something crazy happens. We have people who are most likely going to have a match at WrestleMania. Things that pretty much aren't confirmed. I'm not confident in saying it's 100%, but it seems pretty obvious. People that should have a match at WrestleMania, I'm thinking of some very specific people that are going to go in this category that maybe we're not sure of. Maybe they have gotten snubbed in the past from having a WrestleMania match. They'll go into they should. Then we have probably not. These are people that are probably not going to have a match at WrestleMania. Pretty self-explanatory. And so is this last category. No way. These are people that have no shot of having a match on WrestleMania this year, unfortunately. Now, I did go back and forth with adding another category in between they should and probably not, for people who maybe it's too early to tell. But I decided that maybe I should do these two categories and force myself to make hard decisions, make this video a little more entertaining, even if it isn't as accurate as it could be in the end. But yeah, we can come back to this after WrestleMania once the card's fleshed out and see how well I actually did. But let's get started here. There's a lot of NXT talent on this tier list. We're going to be ignoring them. I don't want to say no way and treat these people badly just because they're on NXT. It just doesn't work that way. Hopefully they have a great spot on Stand and Deliver. So let's get started. I am going to include Adam Pearce. There is a likelihood of him being involved in some capacity in a match with Braun Breaker, which I know sounds crazy considering who he is. They've been teasing it for a while. He is a former wrestler. It's not improbable. I don't want it to go this way. I want Seth and Braun. But there's a possibility that he could have a match, but probably not. Next, AJ Styles. This is awful that he's in this tier list. We're gonna go right over him. He is retired from the WWE. If he was here, I'm sure he would have a spot 100%. Akira Tozawa, there's just no way that he gets put on a big WrestleMania spot stage. He has his tag team match with the Usos next Monday, but I can see them losing that match most likely. Alba Fire, maybe in a managerial role with Chelsea Green, but that Women's United States Championship couldn't even get on there. I don't see a world where Chelsea Green can get on there. And as a tag team, I don't think there's room for, unfortunately, Secret Harvest to get onto WrestleMania, so there's just no way. Alex Shelley is an interesting one. After last year being left off, the company could go one of two directions, where they could double down and again not put them on the card, or they could listen to the fans and the outcry from last year, how good they did in that TLC match when they finally got it, and go ahead and put them on the card. Unfortunately, I think they will continue the same old booking that they do, and we will not be seeing Alex Shelley at WrestleMania. Alexa Bliss, 100% is going to be having a match at WrestleMania alongside Charlotte Flair. Whether it be against each other or in that tag team division is too early to tell, but I think we're 100% guaranteed to see Alexa Bliss at this year's WrestleMania. Andrade, of course, was released, went over to AEW. Angel, Triple Mania, 100%. WrestleMania, no way. Angelo Dawkins, probably not. I think Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins at this point are still going to be in this tag team division. And again, that tag team division is not going anywhere. But they are, I'd say, maybe a bigger deal in WWE's eyes than the Motor City Machine Guns, which is why I'm going to guarantee him going that spot above. Apollo Crews recently made his return on Main Event, but he's not going to be on WrestleMania. Asuka, this is an interesting one. I'm going to put her in they should. She should have a WrestleMania match, whether it be in a tag team division alongside Kyrie or against Kyrie with this story they're telling with the two of them. But unfortunately, I'm not confident to say that's going to happen. So I'm going to say that she should be on the WrestleMania card, but I don't know. It's too early to tell. Next, Austin Theory. He's going to be there in some capacity. The question is in what capacity? I think maybe more of a storyline angle. So I don't know if we want to count that as something that should be happening, something that's most likely. He's most likely going to be there, but we're talking about WrestleMania matches here, so he's probably not going to have a WrestleMania match. Maybe in a multi-man, like 4v4 with the Vision or something like that. You definitely see that happening. Next, we'll talk about Axiom. I don't think there's a world where that happens. Him and Johnny Gargano are doing some great work right now, but I don't see a pathway for that to happen. B-Fab, of course, is injured at the moment. Bayley, she's who I created this They Should category for. Her and Lyra Valkyria have been putting up amazing work all year. She got snubbed last year. They should put her on WrestleMania, no doubt. It should be something for the Women's Tag Team Championships, maybe a TLC match between Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Lyra, Rhea, Io. That would be amazing. That could main event night 1, in my opinion. Maybe night 2, it could, but I think Roman and Punk are going to main event night 2. But Bayley should be on the WrestleMania card, but again, I'm not confident that they'll do the right thing there. Bianca Belair is an interesting one. If she's cleared, she's going to be at WrestleMania. She's going to be probably beating Jade Cargill for the title. But she did not show up at the Royal Rumble. So, at this point, I'm going to go off based on the vibes that we're getting from the way the company is treating this finger injury. Probably not. I don't want to get my hopes up for her. We could just not rank her, but I'm going to go ahead and say probably not, just with the way that she's going. Bronson Reed, I'm going to put with Austin Theory. I think that it's the same story for the both of them. Let's see here. Big E is listed here. That's very sad. Berto, I'm going to place with Angel. There's just no way. Maybe Triple Mania. And next up over here, off our screen here, we have Braun Breaker, who is 100% going to have a WrestleMania match this year. There's just no doubt about it in my mind. He is an awesome talent. He is involved in this major storyline. Whoever the Masked Man is, most likely, I'm guessing he'll have a match against, hopefully one-on-one. Hopefully they tie it in with Seth Rollins. This is where Austin Theory can come in, Bronson Reed can come in, LA Knight potentially. But I think if anyone's going to get that match, it's going to be Braun Breaker. And speaking of... Oh, never mind. This is Brutus Creed. Brutus Creed, no way. Candice LeRae, no way. Great talent, but unfortunately there's just no way. We have Carmelo Hayes, who 100% should have a WrestleMania match, whether it be a multi-man ladder match, whether it be against Obafemi for the WWE United States Championship. I'm not sure that they will. I think they might have him and Ilya on the SmackDown before. They might have him drop the U.S. title before that, but he is such a generational talent, and I really wish that he would get treated appropriately for that. Let's see who else we got here. Chad Gable. Chad Gable just returned, we assume, as the original El Grande Americano, and I think it's most likely that they're going to be stretching that story to WrestleMania in some capacity. So yeah, I think most likely he'll be on the WrestleMania card under the alias of El Grande Americano, the original. Now we have Charlotte Flair, who I'm going to put with Alexa Bliss. 100% Charlotte Flair is getting a WrestleMania match. Cody Rhodes is 100% getting a WrestleMania match, most likely with Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Roman has selected CM Punk, so that allows that story to keep going. And I hope we'll talk about him, I think, soon here. I think he's going to be on this list. I'm not sure how old it is, but Jacob Fatu, I hope, is also involved in that matchup in a triple threat capacity. That would be amazing. Jade, this is an old list. Chris Sabin, we're going to put with Alex Shelley. I'm sure there's a lot of names that are not on this list due to the fact that there's a lot of names that are on this list that maybe are a little older. People who have been released from the company. Let's see who we got here and drag them up. Oh, CM Punk. CM Punk is definitely having a match at WrestleMania. It's already confirmed. Night 1 main event. We don't have much to talk about there. I loved their promo battle on Raw. CM Punk and Roman Reigns promo battle. That was a phenomenal back and forth between the two. That really highlighted their history and the hatred there. I was on the edge of my seat, and I'm really excited to see their matchup and the promos going into WrestleMania. Let's just drag a couple people up. So we have Damian Priest to talk about, Drew McIntyre to talk about. Let's do it like this. I apologize. And I'm probably not going to edit this either because we're just chilling. We're just having a good time. We have Gunther to talk about. Ilya, we kind of mentioned. I might just throw him with Carmelo. I think he's maybe a little less likely than Carmelo Hayes because they could do a couple different directions with Carmelo. Obafemi was on Raw last night, but they said he wasn't signed to Raw, so it doesn't mean that he's not going to be on that SmackDown brand. So maybe we move Ilya down to probably not, just because I think Carmelo being the champion makes him that step above Ilya with their likelihood. We have Dragon Lee to talk about. Dakota Kai, unfortunately, we do not have to talk about. The Wyatt Six are interesting. I think I'm going to leave them. Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm going to pull Eric Rowan, and he will be our stand in for the entirety of the Wyatt Six. Finn Balor is such an interesting one to think about right now. Jade Cargill. Grayson Waller is an interesting one we have to get into. Io Sky, come on, man. Best wrestler in the world. Jacob Fatu is on this list. Okay, so let's talk about Jacob Fatu then. I was saying that I'd love to see him with Cody and Drew in that triple threat. So I think overall it's most likely he'll either be involved in that, or maybe Randy Orton is announced as his attacker, or someone else is, and then that could be the WrestleMania story. Jacob Fatu, I want to put him in 100%. Seeing him next to Chad Gable, I'm like, he has such a better shot than Chad Gable. Let's do it. Screw it. Jacob Fatu 100% is going to be having a WrestleMania match. There's just so many pathways for him to go down. I don't know which one they're going to take. But, yeah, I would have loved to see him win the Royal Rumble over Roman Reigns and have that be the triple threat. But right now, that's what we're looking at. Yeah, I like him there. Drew McIntyre, 100% having a WrestleMania match, most likely against Cody Rhodes. And I hope, again, with Jacob Fatu's involvement. Gunther, 100% he's having a WrestleMania match, but it's really hard to tell right now what that means for him. Is he going to be retiring somebody else? Is he going to be going for a championship? It seems like those avenues are both full at the moment, so we'll see. Damian Priest, I'm going to put him most likely because they love to put him in those spots, but there isn't a clear path for him at the moment. I could see maybe a U.S. title multi-man match again involving Damian Priest there. We'll see. I think right now they most likely will find a spot for him in some capacity to be on the WrestleMania card because of the way that they treat him. And he is a great wrestler. He always meets those moments. But we'll wait and see. I'm not 100% convinced just because of the nature of this year's WrestleMania being so stacked. Let's take a look here. Dragon Lee, he was involved with Gunther. He's probably not going to get a WrestleMania match, but he can definitely fill Gunther's time while they figure this out. I think that's probably the plan. If not, he's just written off TV. I loved how he came out, though, to face off with Gunther as he made fun of AJ Styles' retirement. I think that was kind of cute to see Dragon Lee come out and stand up for AJ like that, considering they were tag team champions together. Chelsea Green, she should be on the WrestleMania card. Please, in any capacity, Triple H, put Chelsea Green on the WrestleMania card. She is such a unique talent, but I'm not sure that they will. She wasn't last year. Eric Rowan, we're saying, is going to be our stand-in for the entirety of the Wyatt Six. I think it's most likely we'll see them in some capacity. I think a WrestleMania entrance for the Wyatt Six would be great. I'm not convinced 100%. I honestly think that they should maybe be put down to they should, especially because they burned the Wyatt Six versus MFTs at the Royal Rumble kickoff, but it was a dark match, so maybe they can still stretch that to Mania. Finn Balor. He should get a WrestleMania match, but I think he's going to be this filler feud for CM Punk as we work our way to WrestleMania. Probably at the Elimination Chamber in Chicago, we'll get Punk versus Balor. So he should be on the WrestleMania card, but I don't think he will be. I'm not convinced. Jade Cargill is 100% going to be champion going into WrestleMania. The only question is it going to be against Tiffany Stratton, who returned, or will Bianca Belair be cleared to return to action and challenge her in some capacity? Grayson Waller, probably not. Maybe as a third string to the New Day, standing in their corner. But again, like we said with Austin Theory, we're looking at who's going to be having these matches specifically. Ivy Nile, no way. Io Sky, 100% is having a match at WrestleMania. I would love to see it somehow to get her into the main event. I think that the work that her and Rhea have been doing are just so deserving of that. Tag team titles or against each other, I think that they could main event this show. Let's work on getting another batch of people up here. We're not going to talk about the Viking Raiders. I think there's no way. They just got squashed by Obafemi 2-on-1. Let's move Kairi Sane up. We have Jordan Grace here to talk about. Johnny Gargano we can talk about. Oh, Karrion Kross, man. Javon Evans is here. JD McDonough, we could talk about JD McDonough. Dominic, of course, we got to talk about Dominic. I might be blind here. I don't want to miss anyone too important, but also we're just having a good time. Lash Legend we need to talk about. She had such a great showing at the Royal Rumble. I would love to put Kevin Owens into most likely, but he probably is still going to be injured, unfortunately. Liv Morgan, so much to talk about with Liv Morgan. LA Knight, so much to talk about with LA Knight. Kofi Kingston, we can have him be our representative for the New Day. The Miz, my gosh, this roster is just so incredible. When you look at it like this, it really makes you think about how incredible it is. Naomi, of course, unfortunately, not unfortunately, she's pregnant. She's having a child. That's beautiful. It's amazing. But I think it's sad that we can't have her at WrestleMania, but she's missed. She's sorely missed. Rhea will pull up there. Ray will pull up. Randy Orton, of course, we can pull up. Ludwig Kaiser, where has that guy been, man? Just collecting a paycheck at this point, huh? He's kind of lazy, if you ask me. The Rock, yeah, we can throw him up there. That might be funny, huh? Shinsuke, let's move up. Tiffany, they still show her as champion on this. That's so funny. Gosh, what a deep well of talent here. Zelina, we should probably talk about. Xavier will group in with Kofi. Okay, I think I'm happy with this for the remainder of these big names at least. Oh, we do have hiding on the side here. We have Obafemi. Maxine Dupree was just popped out when we did that. Oh, Raquel. We got to talk about Raquel. My gosh. Penta. We have to talk about Penta. Seth Rollins. Oh my gosh. Probably screwing at the screen seeing that. Sol Ruca. Oh my gosh. This is why WrestleMania is 2 nights. Because the amount of talent is just overflowing. I apologize to the Homo sapiens. I'll say really quick, I don't think he's going to be there. Nia. How come Becky isn't on this list? Am I blind? I don't see Becky on this list. I figured AJ Lee wouldn't be, just because of the stuff going on. How recent she joined back to the WWE. This seems to be a little bit of an outdated list. But Becky Lynch not being on here is quite surprising. Okay, let's talk about these names that we got, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm going to start to go a little bit faster here just because I don't want to post an hour video to YouTube and make you all sit through all of that while I ramble on. But let's see here. So Kairi Sane, I think we're going to group her with Asuka. I think they're in the same boat at the moment. Jordynne Grace, probably not. I think she's going to be that filler feud, similar to Finn Balor this year. Johnny Gargano, I think no way. I'm going to put him next to Axiom. Nathan Frazier group in there as well. Let's talk about Liv Morgan, who was 100%. She's a Royal Rumble winner. Last night she posed over Stephanie Vaquer after she took her out when she defeated Raquel Rodriguez, who we did pull. Where is Raquel? Because Raquel's an interesting story. I think you'd think she lost there. That was her big opportunity, and it's done now, right? That might be the path that you go to. But I think that she should be on the WrestleMania card in some capacity. And I will say I see a pathway here where Raquel Rodriguez intervenes in this matchup, makes it maybe a triple threat here with Liv, Stephanie, and Raquel. They're definitely going to continue to tell that story as we go into Mania. And I think Raquel's improved so tremendously, it's worth viewing her as a real option. Sami Zayn, most likely. I would put him at 100% because they always do put him there, but I don't think there's a direct path for him now after Drew. I think this year is very much like a rebuilding year for him. Roman Reigns 100%. Already announced Roman Reigns versus CM Punk last night. Again, it was awesome. Roxanne Perez should get a spot in some capacity, but I think her best shot would be in a tag team, and that's just not the direction we're moving in right now. Kit Wilson is probably not going to have a match at WrestleMania, but I could definitely see them play his song, have him come out. But they didn't do it at the Rumble, shockingly. So I don't know. Maybe they don't see as much ground in him as we do. Randy Orton 100% is going to have a match at WrestleMania in some capacity. Rey Mysterio as well, as long as he is willing and able, will be having a match at WrestleMania. Logan Paul also, and they'll find a spot for Logan Paul. Obafemi, most likely. He really should, but I think it's most likely for him. Javon Evans, I think, fits more into that they should place. And LA Knight as well. They both are talents that I think the people want to see. The people want to see them, and they should be given what they want. Rhea Ripley, 100% is going to be, like I said with you, hopefully in a main event at WrestleMania, just because of the year they've had. Lash Legend, after her showing in the Royal Rumble and in general, she 100% should get a WrestleMania spot. It's unclear if she will. Kofi, we're going to have stand in for the New Day. I think most likely, yes. We'll see the New Day and the Usos, I think, at WrestleMania run that back. Seth Rollins, most likely, it seems like he's going to be cleared in time for WrestleMania. We just aren't 100% sure yet, so I guess that's why I won't put him at 100%, but I think him and Braun is the most likely pathway for them. Natalya and Maxine Dupree, probably not, but they're definitely going to be in this women's Intercontinental title picture as we move forward. I couldn't find Becky Lynch's image, so let's just say now Becky Lynch 100%. AJ Lee isn't on this list. I think the where we're going is Becky versus AJ. The question is, are they going to have the Intercontinental title on the line for their matchup, or is Maxine and Natalya going to take that title in a different direction is the question there. Dominic Mysterio 100%. He returned to Raw last night. It wasn't clear if he was cleared. It wasn't clear if he was cleared or if he was just there for one night to introduce Liv Morgan. But, I mean, surely they would have stripped this title off of him if he wasn't ready. Penta should get a WrestleMania match. Come on. He's awesome. Tiffany Stratton most likely will get a WrestleMania match. The question is, if Bianca comes and faces Jade Cargill, there's a chance Tiffany is not on the WrestleMania card. Jey Uso, 100%, right? They're going to use him in some capacity, probably against the New Day. But there's no way they're going to give up on him. They just love the eating too much, even if it's so annoying. Sol Ruka. She should. She's had a great year. I think that's the next step for her. The question is, do they want to keep her in NXT for longer, or are they ready to pull that trigger and have her be featured a little more heavily? Nia Jax. This might be controversial, but I'm going to put her in they should. I feel like they never treat her the way that you'd think. They never give her that proper respect. She doesn't have a lot of big WrestleMania moments. She's usually left off the card. Last year she was champion for a long time, and then didn't get that WrestleMania spot, and I always hate to see that. But she should get a WrestleMania spot, in my opinion. She deserves it. The Miz, probably not. I think his time is maybe done in that capacity, but I think he's definitely going to be someone that we're going to see backstage or come out and say some stuff, maybe announce the attendance. The Rock, I'm going to put in no way. I think that's so funny to include him in this. He should. He should get his ass there and do some work, put some work in. People are mad at him. I think he knows that, and I don't think we see him at WrestleMania. Solo Sikoa, I'm going to put in they should. I think that they should do some story with Solo and the Wyatt Six continuing into Mania. Let's talk about Shinsuke Nakamura. Unfortunately, I'll put him in they should, because I think after his run with AJ Styles, people love Shinsuke. I think he's coming to an end probably in his career, right? With how long he's been doing it. And I think he deserves another crack at a WrestleMania moment, even if it's in a WrestleMania United States Championship ladder match potentially with Carmelo Hayes. I think he could be a good fit there, and I think he should be included on WrestleMania. Is there anyone else here that we want to talk about? Let's just run through and go over a few of these people, and if we see any big names, we'll pull them up. JD McDonough is injured at the moment, right? So I don't think he'll be back in time to get the big story that he would need to get into that position. Elton Prince, unfortunately, just had that neck surgery. I believe he got fusions. 2 fusions, I think, is what the Kit Wilson said. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see here. Lola Vice had a great showing. I don't think we're going to see her. Zelina Vega, we can talk about Zelina Vega. How's that? Let's talk about Zelina Vega. Otis, I think we talked about Akira, right? In that no way we can put him with him. Nathan Frazier with Axiom, of course. The rest of the bloodline, I think, is going to just follow behind Solo Sikoa, so we can leave it at that. Xavier, group him with Kofi. Zoe, I don't think we're going to see her back in time, but potentially. Let's talk about Rey Fenix for a second. He's having great showings on SmackDown in the ring, but he's just not getting the treatment deserved from the crowd. Lyra Valkyria, we have to talk about Lyra Valkyria. Come on. And then I saw another name, Sheamus. We have to talk about Sheamus, and then we can wrap this up, because Lyra Valkyria, I just lost her again. How do I do that so fast? Lyra, Sheamus, and then I think I pulled Zelina. We don't need to talk about Zelina. Oh, Julia here. Thank God I saw that. Zelina, I think, is an interesting one, because she's always going to be, as long as she's in the company, she's going to be considered a potential threat for these mid-card championships. I think if the mid-card titles had been around for the last couple of years, she'd be a multi-time mid-card champion at this point. She just keeps finding herself in those spots. So we'll see what happens there with her In the future, I don't think we see her at WrestleMania, though. And then let's talk about really quick Jimmy Uso as well. Jimmy, we're going to group with Jay. Jay has the whole shtick that they love. They're the tag team champions. He's gone right now. He's been gone with some family issues, but I assume he'll be back, and hopefully he's all set and good for WrestleMania. Let's talk about these last couple names here, which I think might be some of the more interesting ones. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley are who I made this category for. They 100% should be at WrestleMania. They should be in the tag team title match. I just don't think it's a guarantee, unfortunately. Julia also should be at WrestleMania. I wish they did kickoff matches still, because I could see her and Kiana James building a nice little story after Kiana showing in the Royal Rumble and maybe ending up on the kickoff show for the Women's United States Championship, because I don't think that they have faith to put that in the actual WrestleMania card. But Julia 100% should be featured here. And then finally, Sheamus. Oh yeah, we talked about Selena. Sheamus. Oh gosh, he again another one for they should. He should 100% be given a spot in WrestleMania. He's wrapping up his career as well. He's a great wrestler, but unfortunately, I don't see it happening. So here we go. This is our final list here for WrestleMania 2026. The chances for all of these main roster stars to have WrestleMania matches this year. It's going to be interesting to see if I'm on track or if I'm wrong. Of course, some of these are so obvious. The 100% people are so obvious. Most likely, hopefully, they all end up on there in some capacity. And again, they should as well. I'm hopeful. I hope that Triple H knows what he's doing with this year's build to WrestleMania and that we end up with a solid card. But thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.